What is up, squad? We're coming back today and we're going to finish up the series on Best of the Rest. This time is going to be East Edition, and we're going to be talking about the two top teams that I think are going to come out of the Eastern Conference if it's not the Nets. I'm Shaquille Almarinas, and let's get into it. For my first team that I'm going to have coming out of the Eastern Conference is going to be the Heat. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. In order to make a deep run into the playoffs, you have to have star power, and you definitely have that with the Heat. Now, you don't have superstars, right? This isn't a collection of the Nets and the Lakers, but that's why they're still on this list. They've got Kyle Lowry, they've got Jimmy Butler and Bam, right? And they've got really good, solid pieces around them, and they got Heat culture, right? So we know that they're gonna be a really solid team, and they've got a really good coaching staff as well with Eric Spoelstra, who's a very proven coach in this league. And I think they're really looking to just bounce back from last year, right? I mean, they got bounced in the first round by Giannis in an embarrassing fashion as well. Jimmy Butler played poorly. Bam Adebayo got basically walled off, which is what they did to the Bucks, the season before, and so they got it implemented onto Bam. And so I think that these are going to be things that are going to be struggles for the Heat to overcome, but I think that they're going to be able to make it out this year. I think with the addition of Mike Lowry, I think that he is going to bring that veteran presence that the Heat really needed. We know what Kyle Lowry is about. He is about winning, winning, winning. Now, he's only won one championship, but we know what he brings to the table on a night in and night out basis. He's gonna bring his 110% effort every single time. That paired up with Jimmy Butler is gonna have this Heat team on their toes every single night, coming out to compete. And so I think that's gonna help propel them to a really high seeding come playoff time. And then I just don't see anyone else in the Eastern Conference being able to really knock them out. I mean, we look at the Eastern Conference and we know historically over the last, few decades, the East has been a much weaker conference than the Western Conference. Now, they are getting much better, which is great, but I mean, we're not gonna put a team over the Heat like the Knicks or the Hornets, or I would say even the Hawks. I mean, maybe if you wanna make that argument, I guess. But in my opinion, I think it's just too early for them. And so with that big three of the Heat, they've got Tyler Hero, they've got Duncan Robinson, who can really help to space the floor, and Tyler Hero can really go get his own buckets. I mean, I want to see a more expanded role out of them, to be honest. But if you give this team a full 82 game season and they're able to have their practices and build that chemistry and continuity, I think they're going to be a really strong team to deal with, again, just because of that star power that they have on the team. And my next team coming out of the Eastern Conference, who I think is actually going to be the team to come out, again, if it's not the Nets, is going to be the Bucks. And now this, I actually had it pretty close between the Nets and the Bucks, and the reason being is because of Giannis. Again, with the superstars, guys, if you're noticing a trend here, you have to have a top tier superstar on your team in order to have a legit chance at making it, unless it's one of those one-off seasons, which this is not going to be. But Giannis is looking amazing. I mean, that guy is unstoppable. You get him into the paint, it's a done deal. I mean, he is like Derrick Henry, where just nobody wants to get in front of that guy, and I feel bad for any NBA player who has to try to guard him one-on-one, because it's just not gonna be a fun night for that person. And then on top of that, this dude is just coming out pulling up threes, and he's making them. Like, how insane is that? If we can have Giannis shoot at a three-point clip of 35% and above consistently, and he's taking like 4 or 5 3-pointers a night, I mean, it's a done deal. Just wrap it up. Giannis is the GOAT. Like, that's the capability that this guy has, because he is so good at everything else on the floor. He just literally doesn't have a jump shot. And so if he's starting to do that on a consistent basis, I mean, just not even the Eastern Conference, watch out for the rest of the league, because this guy is going to be scary to deal with every single night. And then on top of that too, the Bucks just have a really well-constructed team. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say about Mike Budenholzer, and I have my own opinions as well, but we can't deny the fact that he is still a top-level coach in this league, which again is something that is really helpful to get you through the playoffs and into the championship round. And then the rest of the team is very well constructed as well. Chris Middleton, we're only expecting him to, again, build upon what he did last year and improve on that inconsistency that he has, right? We know what he's gonna bring to the table in the regular season, but in the playoffs, some nights he's gonna pop off, some nights he's gonna be down. And I'm looking for him this season to really bring more consistency to the table throughout the entire playoffs. You look at Drew Holiday, who is just a lockdown point guard. I mean, he's one of the best point guard defenders in this league.
You got Pat Connaughton, who can really help stretch the floor. Brooke Lopez, who is a really solid interior defender and can stretch the floor for you on the three-point line. You got George Hill, who is always a serviceable point guard and just knows what to be doing. Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Giannis's older brother. I'm more interested to see how he's going to be playing this season because he is dreadful offensively, but he gives 150% effort on defense.
And then you've got Jordan Warra, who this guy was a huge surprise for me. This is something that Bucks fans should be really excited for. I mean, you got a 6'7", 6'8" small forward who can really help to stretch the floor. Even though he's only been in the league for 2 years, he kind of has that veteran presence because he played 3 years in college. Again, more and more shooting. That's all you need around Giannis. Put more and more in shooting and defensive players around Giannis, and they're gonna be a top-notch team. So I definitely have them ahead of the Heat. It's gonna be a great series. I think it'll probably go 6 games if they end up meeting in the playoffs, but I think that the Bucks are ultimately gonna win. And Giannis, again, is just, he's looking like he's taking another leap in his game, which is just crazy to think about. But anyways, guys, let me know who you think is gonna come out of the Eastern Conference if it's not the Nets. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to go down and like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.